Hey, howdy, and welcome to the Big and Bright podcast. It's just me again, just Justice James. Nick is off doing smart person things, and so I decided to do this on my own. I don't think he's going to like that because I haven't included him on this decision, but here we are. On today's episode, we're going to talk about a few things going on through Texas, but first, please like, share, subscribe, share. You know what? Share a third time. Everyone should see this and see how great this is. So go ahead, share until you're told to stop sharing. Today, we're going to talk about some legislative matters, about what Abbott is doing for the state of the state, about some representatives getting in trouble, and some possible gifts for your friends for Valentine's Day. The first thing we have on today's topic is Texas border czar. If you've never heard of a Texas border czar, congratulations. It's because it hasn't happened before. This is the first time we're having it. Abbott decided to do this, and his description was because the border is wide open. We can't stand this. I can't focus my entire time on this. We have to have a new head that actually focuses entirely just on border security. This guy's name is Mike Banks. He is a former Border Patrol agent for 20 plus years. His job will be the executive head of the border. He will answer directly to Abbott and Abbott only. He will also be there to help with logistics, help with maybe some more information about how we can do a certain thing, for instance, Operation Lone Star, and he will oversee the border wall being made, because it should be. So that's a cool thing, and some say this may be like a waste of time and tax resources, whatever. I think it's something that has to be done. I don't necessarily agree with we have to do something, but I do agree this is something that needs to be done because our border is wide open. For Operation Lone Star, they have found many, many felons. They have found a few terrorists, a crap ton of drugs. So yeah, we need something more than just what's been the status quo. And Biden is actually dropping the ball. Because if you didn't remember, because it was very much airbrushed out, Biden actually went to the border for the first time, technically, for the border, not the border that matters, but the border in El Paso. Before he got there, magically, all the illegal immigrants and everybody that's on the streets, the ones that are crossing the border, man, it was cleaned up. It looked spick and span, like you went over there with a nice Clorox wipe and said, this is actually how El Paso looks, despite a few days before Biden actually visited. So it can be done. He just won't do it. Why? Political reasons, I'm guessing. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me because now even his Democrat friends are griping that they're being sent illegal immigrants to their cities and they can't handle it. Imagine being in Texas. It's a whole lot worse. So we will see what happens out of this. Maybe this is a good job. Maybe this is something that we should try out and it doesn't work out. Well, we'll get rid of it. It's not like something that's being long existing. So I like it, Abbott. I like that you're doing something about this. I agree with at least trying, but I hope you're also willing to pull the plug whenever you realize this sucks, if that ever happens. Now, next on today's topic is going to be Bee Cave Bob. If you don't know who Bee Cave Bob is, it is the Texas version of the groundhog. Instead, ours is an armadillo because it's cooler that way. And this armadillo will tell us if there's going to be an early spring or if we're going to get some more treacherous winter. Now, for Texans, for us, winter is anything below 75 degrees, and we need it to go away. It's right now about 40 degrees and raining. I don't like it. I want it to go away. Let's get back to that early spring. So Bee Cave Bob, he is at odds with Mr. Phil up there in Pennsylvania because he did not see his shadow, which means early spring. Here's hoping. Here's hoping. Love the early spring. Really want it to happen. And also, apparently, he can actually dictate political climate. If he walks out of his little hidey hole and veers left, then it'll be a liberal year. Sad days. But if your year's right, it'll be a conservative year. Don't you worry, folks. He went right. We're going to have a conservative year. Let's do it. Keep it going. This should be fun. And yes, I know, I realize the silliness of all this, but this is still kind of cool. Texas had its own spin. We've been doing this for a long time, and I hope we continue it. It's something kind of fun to do for Groundhog Day, but our own version because we never let any state dictate how we do things. No, no. Our weather vane, which is an armadillo, will tell us what weather is going to be. Now, if y'all don't know, and if any of y'all have wives or girlfriends, you do know, Valentine's Day is coming up. But this gift may not be a gift you want to get your wife or girlfriend because it kind of has a bad connotation. The San Antonio Zoo does a fundraiser every year called Cry Me a Cockroach Fundraiser. And what it is that you can buy a cockroach, donate money to get a cockroach, a mouse or other rodent, or a veggie. And those items will be fed to an animal in the zoo. This is a really cool fundraiser. It's kind of a little gag, but it's really neat because it's a way for the San Antonio Zoo to raise money for their facilities, to actually raise money to give to conservation efforts across the world for different endangered animals. And so it's a cool idea and it gets you a laugh. When you donate for this cockroach, which is the typical is a cockroach, that person who is usually an ex, so if you have any exes out there you want to get back at, here you go, here's your chance. And that ex will be sent a digital Valentine's Day card showing that their name was given for a cockroach name and that cockroach met its utter demise. However, if you're willing to splurge, apparently over $150 at least, you can not only get that awesome digital Valentine's card, which makes sure your ex knows you hate him. 2, you can actually send a video with that named cockroach meeting its demise. So, if you're ever out there to really hate on your husband, not your husband, hope you're not doing it to your husband, hate on your ex, then it'd be a fun venture. However, if you also want to make a joke to a friend, you can do the exact same thing. However, I would say if you're spending over $150 on someone that you don't like anymore, or maybe you hate, they may be living rent-free in your head. So you may need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Now, next story I have on the docket here, a Texas senator was arrested. Oh no, what did this person do? Well, allegedly driving while intoxicated. Yes, Senator Charles J. Schwertner was arrested this week for driving while intoxicated in Travis County. This senator is a chairman of the Senate Committee on Business and Commerce and a chairman on the Constitutional Issues Committee. He also serves on various other committees. But he was stopped at 12:46 a.m. in the morning and arrested thereafter. Side note, nothing good happens after midnight. I don't care what your friends are telling you. I don't care what you may think yourself. Mind you, if you're out past that date and you've been drinking some adult beverages, yourself is not actually telling yourself. It's Mr. Jack Daniels that's helping out with that conversation. It's not going to go well. Get a cab. Go home. Just go home. He didn't listen to that. Well, that's why he got arrested. This is the first time. This is not the first time this has happened. Back in 2013, another representative, Naomi Gonzalez of El Paso, she was also arrested for driving while intoxicated after a crash. She got 15 days in jail and was not reelected after that. Whether or not he deserves jail time, did he crash? No, he just got caught. I don't know. It's also alleged. Until that's actually down in the courts as an actual conviction, still alleged. Dan Patrick has come out and says he really hates this act. He thinks that they should be doing their job, not out drinking and gallivanting. I'm totally with you. But again, he says until a conviction happens, he can do nothing about it, and I applaud him. Then again, it's also a Republican. Maybe there's a reason why he's waiting. Who knows? So my biggest thing is, should he step down from committees? Should he resign? No. I don't know if he should step down. Maybe he's forced to step down. That's something that the House, or the Senate and Dan Patrick can discuss. But resign, that's up to him. He's not the first politician to get in trouble for doing stupid stuff. He just got caught, and the only reason people care in Texas is because he's a Republican. So they really want to make fun of Republicans. Shocker, shocker. So you dealt with but you also gave them the opportunity to do this because you're an idiot by driving while intoxicated. Allegedly. Allegedly. Sorry about that. So it's up to you. I don't care. If the voters want to vote him back in, that's great. If not, that's great. It's why it's a representative elections that we have. So it's up to you, not me. But we'll see what happens. Well, let's get to the actual legislative session. The legislative session, currently, nothing is going on, mostly due to Greg Abbott. And I'll get to a reason of why that's later. But also, we don't really know what's being discussed, the whispers that would go on, mostly because the media is no longer allowed on the Senate floor in Texas. That's a recent change that happened for this legislative session, possibly going further. I'll get to more about that later on. But a lot of committees are talking about a lot of things. We've discussed a few of those on this show, but nothing's really final. Certainly nothing's gone to Greg Abbott's desk. So it's just discussions at this point. However, the reason why they can't really be passed is because Governor Greg Abbott has not actually had his State of the State yet. And what that is basically a State of the Union for Texas. When he has that, he lists out his priorities of what he wants passed. And according to our Constitution in Texas, nothing for the first 60 days can be passed that is not on that priority list. But the weirdest thing is that Greg Abbott is waiting until day 38 or day 32. Looking, I believe it's day 38, which is weird. Day 38, you're waiting an awful long time, knowing this thing is in our Constitution, but you're not actually doing anything about it. So why not do it quicker? Anyways, February 16th, he is doing the State of the State at 7 p.m. in San Marcos, not in the Capitol, because he doesn't want the pomp and everything about it, which you may have saw it on Tuesday. Today is a Wednesday. Then I'm recording this from the State of the Union. And I get that. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time just to deliver the speech and move on. But the weirdest thing is that he's not allowing the press to be there while he's delivering the speech. Now, I mentioned the press before on the Senate floor. And here he is again, no press. Why is that? It's kind of weird. Some could say, well, it seems like a Emperor Abbott situation. But you have to remember the press is typically left-leaning. So I get it from a political standpoint. Why would I allow someone who's just going to spin the story and do the whispers that don't amount to anything to make something that's a snowball into a whole... what is it? Snowball down. Make it a huge hill of a mountain from this little big of a story. But they still are the press. You still are a public servant. We still allow people to talk about you because it's legal in Texas and the United States. So why not let them in? I don't know. You wouldn't be answering any questions anyway, so why not let reporters in and make their own comments and everything that's going on? I don't know. So it is a weird thing. But the biggest thing is you're willing to go around talking about banning TikTok from state devices, now talking about banning it from the entire state. I'm with you. But you can talk about a lot, but you can't pass anything because you haven't listed your priorities yet, dude. You need to do the priorities. Until then, it's just talk. And talk gets you nothing except for political points, which is what I think he's doing because I think he may be starting a run for 2024 for president. I don't know about that. Just making my guesses. We'll see how that plays out. So we need to do this. You're waiting 38 days for no reason. It's the longest time we've ever waited, about 30 years. Usually they do it around day 21, day 23 at latest, but you're waiting 38 days. And that only gives 22 days for lawmakers to actually write some bills that you may sign. So you're kind of putting them in a really tight spot. As you know, anything legislatively does not smoothly go through. I don't care if we have a Republican Congress. it does not smoothly go through. We bicker about anything. So, come on, Abbott, do your job. But tune in anyways, because it is State of the State. It should be fun to watch. We'll see how he delivers it. Hopefully, it's short because we don't need an hour-long event. Just read the script and move on. We'll see. So, after all that, even though things kind of seem dark in the Senate because nothing is going on, do not worry because the stars at night are big and bright. We'll see you next week.